Evening, everyone. Welcome to our November 13th, 2024 Planning Board meeting. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Steve?
Chairman John Curry.
Here.
Michael Coughlin.
Here.
Vicky Gannon.
Here.
Jack Mattis.
Here.
Bruce Prince.
Here.
Anthony Sutton.
Here.
Christopher Berto.
Here. Thank you. First on our agenda, meetings, minutes from October 9th, 2024. Any discussion, any changes, any corrections, additions?
Make a motion that we accept them.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. As you're aware of the meeting, the text we got today, Kennedy Catholic is going to get moved to the last item on the agenda because they have some folks that can't get here right away. So we'll start with the continuation of the public hearing, or I'm sorry, not the continuation of, but the new public hearing for Singular Wireless. The applicants applying for the renewal of their special use permit for existing co-located wireless communication antennas located at 80 Route 6, which is in the Somers Commons Shopping Center, and it was last renewed by the planning board in a resolution filed April 18th, 2019.
And
Steve, was public notice?
yep, legal notice was posted in the Somers Record on October 31st, 2024. The adjoining property owners were notified via mail on October 31st, 2024. And the sign stating the date and location of the public hearing was posted on the site on October 30th, 2024.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Zalin. I'm with the law firm of Cuddy and Fader. I am hearing tonight on behalf of the applicant, New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, also known as AT&T, in connection with their application for renewal of their special use permit for the existing co-located wireless telecommunication facility in the Somers Commons Shopping Center. This existing pole is owned by Crown Castle. It's located on the rear portion of the property, the southeastern portion behind the buildings. AT&T is not proposing to make any changes at this time. They're simply applying to this board for renewal of their special permit. And in connection with that application, we did submit certain materials, including a structural letter, which we, I'll back up. We did receive a memo from Woodard and Curran reviewing the submitted application. We note that the memo lists the documents received, but does not reference the structural letter. So I just wanted to make sure that this board was aware that a structural letter was filed. And I'm available to answer any questions that the board has about the existing facility or this renewal application.
Dave and Steve?
Thank you for that clarification. You with staff to make sure that we get a copy of that and can review it.
Okay. I do actually have a copy of
Happy to take that.
like to take it from me. Sorry. There you go. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you do have a resolution before you, given that this is a renewal of the special permit. I would note that even though we've just received a copy of the letter, there is a condition in the approval that says that the applicant shall respond to the satisfaction of the town engineer. So obviously, Steve doesn't have to respond tonight, but we do have, and we can coordinate with the applicant in the event that you do approve the resolution. And the other condition we've noted is just provide the town clerk with an original copy of the renewal.
Okay.
Thank
But you would provide a copy in the package, but we want an original version to submit to the town clerk.
Sure.
Okay.
Can
Those are the only comments I have.
Thank you. Since there's a public comment period, is there anyone from the public wishes to speak on this matter? No. Make a motion then that we close the public hearing, public comment period.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any board member comments? Okay.
No.
Board happy with the resolution that's been presented and for chairman's signature?
Yes.
Okay, make a motion that we approve the resolution for my signature.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Next is a continuation of the public hearing for the Lackner Wetland and Watercourse and Stormwater Management and Erosion Sediment Control application, and the address is 11 Valley Drive. Excuse me. The applicant is proposing to construct an in-ground swimming pool, spa, and related site work within a wetland buffer area. And for the record, the property is at 11 Valley Drive, and it's in an R40 zoning district. Steve, has the notice has been posted and published?
The legal notice was published in the Somers Record on October 31st, 2024. The adjoining property owners were notified via mail on October 31st, 2024. And I don't have clarification on whether a sign was posted. Happen to know that?
I do not know.
Evening.
How are you?
Good.
I'm John Petrosini. Paul Gdansky, the engineer for the project, had a continuing conflict, so I'm here with you again tonight. We did, since our last meeting, receive comments from the engineer. Paul has had a chance to discuss and review many of those comments with him. Mostly technical items in nature, and I believe most of them have been resolved at this point. You will be seeing that in future plan submittals, but there were no comments that there was any objection to. And I don't believe there was any substantial change from a planning perspective that would be resulting from those comments.
Steve and Dave?
First, real quick. So at the last meeting, Chris, I think you had raised some issues about the propane.
Yeah.
Those comments were shared with the building inspector. My recollection was that he did not believe that that was going to be an issue going forward.
Great.
That's something that he reviews as part of the building permit application process.
Thanks.
I have had some ongoing correspondence with Mr. Gdansky, the engineer on the project, as he was looking to address our comments. He has addressed most of them where we're looking for some additional detail. There are a couple of items that I wanted to highlight for the board. One of which is a significant portion of the proposed work is within the existing wetland buffer. DEC has confirmed the wetland boundaries. The applicant is proposing subsurface infiltration to deal with the stormwater from the new impervious surface there, which is something that we do look for when it can be accommodated. The applicant does need to perform some additional testing for that stormwater infiltration system so that we can approve the stormwater pollution protection plan. Mr. Gdansky is aware of that and intends to complete it. The town code does require mitigation to the extent practicable for disturbance in wetland and in wetland buffer areas. In this case, the DEC has provided a list of recommended plantings for areas that will not be mowed regularly and for planting within the wetland buffer. It's an appropriate list of plants. And I think one of our questions is really just to clarify on the plans where those are proposed to be added. And in order to preserve that as a infrequently mowed area, are there any additional site features, shrubs or other landscaping that would help delineate that area, which will be maintained as lawn and differentiate that from areas that will not be mowed as regularly and to preserve the function of that wetland buffer in that area. We have an open comment related to the wall height, and that really relates to the board's approval of the size of the project. And if that were to change, then the wall might change, and that's why the engineer hasn't provided that. That is often or is occasionally a condition of a resolution that we receive the appropriate engineered documents for that wall before it's constructed. The extent of the disturbance on the site and the earthwork that's being done here, it's a very tight site for what's being proposed. The engineer has said that they don't intend to have any soil stockpiles on site, so they haven't addressed that as part of their stormwater pollution prevention plan. If that is the case, then we would want to make sure that that is affirmatively stated on the drawing. So if town inspector does go out and sees a stockpile, we can have a discussion about what happens. Because we would obviously need that to be protected for SWIP purposes. Those were our comments.
Okay, is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on this project? I'm looking for some guidance. Would you suggest we keep the public hearing open for another meeting?
I think that our comments are minor and technical in
Okay.
nature, and if the applicant has any issues with the stormwater system as it's laid out based on the site testing, then they might need to come back to the board.
Board member comments, questions?
We have sized the stormwater system adequately that with a 0 infiltration rate, the system is sized to accommodate 100% of the required volume. DEC requires only a 1/2 inch per hour percolation rate. As a guesstimate in our calculations, we did assume a 1 inch in 30-minute percolation rate, but anything up to a 2-hour perk rate would result in no change to the design.
It's conservatively laid out. I agree.
Board members?
Heard you say that you were gonna submit updated drawings.
Yes, our hopes for tonight would be a referral to the ZBA. And we anticipate returning to your board for a additional appearance with that variance in hand.
You wanna leave it open?
I
I'm gonna
would,
leave it open, okay?
I would, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
open.
The revisions were just on the 10th, and so that was
Yeah.
3 days ago. And so just to give the, if anyone from the public now wants to review the revisions, they can come here
Right.
and then send us emails or come to next month's meeting. So I would just, for the sake of safety, just leave it open.
I agree.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but I think things proceed the way they're going. We'll be able to wrap this up at the next meeting. So that's fair.
Pending
Yeah.
ZBA's input.
And the ZPA's input, obviously. Yeah.
Okay,
All right. So go get on their agenda.
all right.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with the process with them. Do we need a formal referral for your board? Or minutes of
What's the nature? Why do you need to see the ZBA?
for the development coverage? The amount of impervious on the property.
I don't remember if I've heard
Oh,
of that.
In some communities, the planning board, when they send an applicant to the zoning board, they may, with a recommendation of you're okay with no objection with the proposed variance. So you could certainly do that just by a voice
Yeah.
vote and
So everybody, I feel comfortable doing this. Everybody feel comfortable doing that?
So the issue is land coverage
Yeah.
by the project?
With impervious surface, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we send them almost like a technical memo that we've reviewed that and don't have an objection to?
You could do
That
that.
they understand that more than.
Yeah.
I'm
It
making,
would be like a referral / technical letter,
But-
right.
just outlining,
explaining everything.
because this doesn't happen often, right? And so,
I don't remember it ever happening.
right, it would
They
just
should-
help everyone along the line, I think.
No objection. Okay.
Right? We don't object.
Yeah. No. Is that right, board? Isn't that right?
And then going forward, should we ask staff to draft a resolution? So we have something to look.
Well, I still, don't you think you want to see his final, he's got a few more items to clear up, or no? You tell me.
What if zoning doesn't like this for some reason? Then what happens then? Like there's, you know what I mean? Like, I think to draft a resolution.
Yeah, I think you probably, at this point, you're a little bit
All right.
mature,
Yeah.
Okay,
West.
I agree with that.
You could certainly, at the next meeting, if you get your variance and you come back and you've satisfied all the concerns, you could do a confirmatory vote.
Right.
And approve the matter at the next meeting.
okay.
Yeah.
So-
So do we need a motion for what you're going to send to the ZBA?
You could do that, yeah.
Okay,
Just make it official, yeah.
make a motion to have you please draft what we just discussed to send to the
Technical
ZBA.
review, right.
Second.
You have no objection.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Yes, there is no objection.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
You too.
You too.
Next is product review, project review for the Coral Seafood Restaurant for the reconstruction addition on their amended site plan application. And for the record, that's a 63 Route 6. What the applicant has proposed is a 930 square foot addition to the existing building and a 420 square foot concrete deck. Like I said, the property is a 63 Route 6. It's approximately an acre in size, and it's in the NS, which is the neighborhood shopping district. Good evening.
Evening, John Carell for Coral. You've seen this before. The restaurant had a fire and it was severely damaged. Since the last time we were here, we got DEP approval of the SWIP for the additional deck, concrete deck. And then there's the addition, the restaurant, which is mainly to move the kitchen into that addition and to provide additional spacing in the restaurant so that people aren't jammed on top of each other. There's no additional seats. Yeah, that's it. One of the things I guess I was talking to town was to request a waiver from public hearing and a waiver from the site walk. The addition is on a 930 square foot addition is on an existing concrete deck or a patio. So the only increase in impervious area is the 420 square feet for the deck on the side.
Mr. Chairman, so given that this application had a prior approval back in 2019, and then as Mr. Carell it indicated there was a fire that damaged the structure, and I think you need to raise the whole structure and rebuild on the existing foundation with the exception of the addition that's going on in the back. It would be my suggestion, and I have a resolution for you on the dais, that you would waive the site plan requirements, waive the public hearing, and you have a draft resolution that you could approve. The conditions in the resolution are essentially the same that were 2019 approval. So the applicant still needs to meet all those requirements with respect to working with the town engineer and with the building department.
Okay. Steve?
The as Mr. Carell stated, the project has a DEP approved SWIP, and so we see no reason to add anything to that SWIP. Usually it goes the other way around. They come to us first and then to the city, but in this case, it went to the city first, and
Okay.
we have no further comments on what's been presented.
Board member questions or comments?
Dave, did you say something about raising the fire structure?
It's my understanding that the fire for the building caused extensive damage, that the building will need to be raised. Not RAISED, but RAZE.
R-A-Z, raised.
Raised. In other words,
Goes
Oh,
yeah,
That's in the paperwork somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've been working with the building inspector on the reconstruction of the building, and basically and we have a building permit to reconstruct the building, and the building reconstruction was designed so that the addition can fit in and not have to do any more other work. So we're basically here for the addition on the concrete pad, the 930 square foot addition, and then that little patio.
Yeah, I've driven by it several times. The main part of the building looks fine.
Yes, but they have to do a lot of work inside.
Okay.
And as I recall, the whole back side of the building has been demolished already, right? Because of
Um,
fire.
Yes, Yes,
So on the interior, it's really a reallocation of space. You're not increasing the seating. So you're not increasing the need for parking, are you?
correct. No, everything is the same.
Right.
Board feel comfortable with, close the public hearing? I'm sorry, waive the public hearing
Yes.
and a site walk?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make two motion on that. Make a motion that we waive the site walk.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
And I also, make a motion that we waive the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have the draft resolution in front of us. It's 2024-16. It's a grant of conditional amended site plan approval at Fatmer. Am I pronouncing it right? I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's Fatner, yes, Fatmir Osmajan.
Okay, OSMANHA, for the 63 Route 6 Coral Seafood Restaurant. Is there a second there?
What was the motion? I'm sorry.
For this resolution,
To-
2024-16.
Draft
I'm sorry,
to accept it?
to accept this
Yeah, yeah.
resolution, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Is it okay for chairman's signature?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Well, that was my understanding.
3 tables.
Whatever the.
6.
This building.
I was wondering why adding space.
Next on our agenda is Harney preliminary subdivision application for 10 Carroll Lane. The application is for preliminary subdivision for the property to subdivide the existing property, creating 2 residential lots. It's located in R40 zoning district, and the applicant will be requesting the application of Town Law 280-A. For the record, Mike, would you just bring us up to date on the record? Ed?
Good evening, Michael Tui, Abrams Fensterman LLP, counsel for the planning board. I did some research regarding the history of Carroll Lane. Given that the town's maintained it for at least 30 years, it's been paved at least 3 times, plus minor repairs. And there was documents that the Mr. Steve Wolfel identified contemplating dedication as far back as 1958 and an extension approved by the planning board in approximately 1978. Carroll Lane is a highway by use pursuant to New York State highway law, section 181, trying to remember, 189, excuse me. Therefore, my recommendation to the planning board was to notify the town highway superintendent, to notify the clerk, to add Carroll Lane to the official Town of Somers Register of Streets.
Thank you. Sleeping during this meeting.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. I'm Jimmy Spillane with Hogan Rossi and Liguori, and Tim Allen with Bibble Associates is also here, as well as Ms. Harney, the property owner, is also here tonight. So I believe the issue that really is in front of you tonight is that referral over to the town highway superintendent, and then I would hope that we could look to scheduling a public hearing on the preliminary subdivision map. This is a 2-lot subdivision that's being proposed. The zoning district requires 40,000 square feet. 1 lot would be 60,000 square feet, and the remaining lot would be 47,000 square feet. And otherwise meets all zoning requirements. The only issue that initially presented to us was whether or not we would need a 280A variance, but I believe as long as the highway superintendent does make that, does follow that recommendation, that issue will be resolved and we can move forward with the preliminary subdivision approval.
Dave and Steve?
As a subdivision with no site plan yet, we have no review.
So I think, and thank you, Michael, for the research on that. I think that helps clarify what was, I think, the main issue. So Michael, the request needs to be made to the highway superintendent. He makes that to the town clerk. Does that action need to be formalized before the planning board can schedule a public hearing, or can they schedule a public hearing with the understanding that action, the placement of of Cairo Lane on the official map needs to be done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
For sharing. I think the board can schedule the public hearing. And as you said, Dave, conditioned on the Carroll Lane being added. Treats the highway superintendent has a duty to add it once it meets a certain condition. So it should just be a matter of notifying him to notify the clerk to.
Okay. Board member question? I mean, obviously, wait to see a site plan.
Subdivision map.
That,
Yeah.
but you don't have any comments on it yet, do you? No.
No.
After the clerk receives this, does anything have to be brought to the town board approval? No. Okay.
Board feel comfortable with scheduling a public hearing at our next meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think does anybody want a site walk?
I don't think so.
Any concerns with steep slopes, wetlands, things like that?
Not really. I don't think so.
No.
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we schedule our public hearing for our November 11th meeting. December 11th.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you.
See you then.
We need to ask staff to forward the attorney's memo with a cover from us.
Yeah, I think, well, you're going to send a request to the highway superintendent, right? Yeah.
Including this, because this is so well written.
Yeah.
So he'll understand exactly the ground that he's on in doing that and the right thing.
Yep.
Awesome.
And the public hearing is in regards to the subdivision, not the.
Correct.
structure.
Right, yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, Michael.
Good evening.
And what's the proper pronunciation of the road? Is it Keyrail? Is it Keyrail Road? How do you say the road?
They don't know.
I think it's Keyrail. I say Keyrail.
I always been,
I've always
We've been
I-
calling it.
Just make it official.
Hero Lane.
Keyrail. Keyrail.
Yeah.
Kirill, that's what.
Yeah, that's what I've always.
Yeah.
Kirill.
What was Superman's nemesis? Wasn't it something along those names?
Corral.
Corral. How about that one?
Oh,
Keyrail.
Don't ask me why I knew that so quickly.
kryptonite, but yeah.
Next on our agenda is 4 Parent Road. It's a wetland and watercourse protection and stormwater management, erosion and sediment control permit application. And the applicant wants to construct a new house, driveway and septic. The property is 2.65 acres and is located at 4 Parent Road in an R80 zoning district. Evening.
Good evening. Nice to see you all. So we had some minor changes to site plan. The landowner has nailed down the house that he wants to build. So we have updated house plans. We went ahead and renewed the permit for the septic. The original septic approval was 3 years ago. So that is in the works. We're able to get the septic a little bit smaller than it originally was. I think the original septic had like 300 some leach lines. We've hit that down to 255 based on the newest Board of Health regulations. Some recommendations from the Open Space Committee. We removed Coltex and subsurface infiltration chambers for something a little bit more natural. We had originally sized the rain garden, which will be revised to an actual bioretention basin based on Steve's latest comments. I think the majority of the comments have been addressed with the exception of revising, excuse me, the rain garden to a bioretention basin. We did field testing earlier this week, so those results of the field testing will be included as part of the revision. The wetland, 100-foot wetland buffer was redelineated last year, so it actually helped with our septic being a little bit smaller than it was. It fits. I mean, we were already outside the 100-foot wetland buffer. Having a little bit of a smaller footprint for a septic, just a little bit more buffer, the 100-foot wetland buffer. The existing driveway is currently gravel. The landowner wants to keep it that way. He has no desire to pave it, so we're going to keep it as a gravel driveway, just basically extending it to the garage. And in addition to that, we've supplied some wetland mitigation plantings along the 100-foot wetland buffer to, quote unquote, give back some wetland back to the town for taking away some of the 100-foot wetland buffer areas. Cut and fills were done. So basically, we were just going to address the handful of comments that Steve had on the plan, and I think we should be good to go.
Yeah, I think that with the receipt of those test results, that will address our comments. The remaining comments we have are very minor in terms of just adding some notes to the erosion sediment control plan around maintenance requirements for the practices.
Dave, do you have any comments?
Comments.
Board member questions, comments? Do you feel a site walk's necessary?
We've walked this.
We did. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Didn't know the extent of, the changes in.
Yep, okay,
Since the building did change, there was any need to re-see it.
okay.
How big is the new proposed house?
It's about 3,000 square feet.
1,000.
It's 500 more than the original house.
Can you just introduce yourself for the record?
Oh, sure. Andy Chung, AC Engineering. You commented on the blue heron that was in the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's still there. Yeah.
Was.
Is it real?
I'm sorry.
Is it real?
Yeah, it's real.
It's still there.
Yep, it's still there.
That's it. Good.
Pretty simple.
We still should do a public hearing though, shouldn't we? Yeah, I mean, aren't we kind of required to, or?
Well, I mean, there's neighbors impacted by the
Yeah,
construction.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, we should.
Well, we have the Jehovah's Witness building to the south. There's a residence to the east.
Yeah.
And then across the street is actually the homeowner's
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Three.
I mean, so make a motion, we schedule a public hearing for the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Does the board feel comfortable asking staff to prepare a resolution?
So,
Yes.
yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Make a motion now. Do we ask staff to prepare a resolution for our December meeting?
Want to vote on the first?
I thought we did, didn't I? I thought we did.
No, you got it.
Somebody second up. All in favor of the public hearing for next meeting, December 11th?
Aye.
Aye.
Favor and a second. You need.
No, I thought we did do a second. I'm sorry. I'm losing it. And I make a motion that we prepare staff to draft a resolution for this project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Just before we get to Kennedy, one last thing, or two other things. You probably read about the Ross resolution. We didn't know at the time that the owner was listed as Dan Palumbo, when in fact, resolution has to be corrected because he's part of an LLC. So, I mean, if you want to explain, it was just one of those things that went through. Didn't realize it.
Understandably, he signed as the applicant and as the owner. He is a member of the LLC. Discuss it with Roland Baroni, and he feels the simplest correction is to just rescind the earlier resolution approving it and then vote to approve the corrected resolution.
Everybody understand how that went through? Okay. We should probably,
Correcting the resolution
we should vote on the corrected resolution.
or corrected resolution when it's done.
The corrected resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have to vote to rescind the original
Yes.
first?
Yes, yep.
And
So we need two votes then?
2 votes.
Make a motion that we rescind the original resolution, which is 2024-11.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
And do you want to, let's see the next one and we can vote on it at the meeting? Yeah.
Understood.
No, let's do that. Okay.
Is it possible to get the revised resolution to the building department? This was the last thing. And honestly, we apologize. We didn't even see the resolution until we were submitting everything to the building department to get the building permit. So literally the resolution, the planning board resolution was the last piece that the building department needed for us to get an actual building permit. So if there was any way that we could expedite and not wait until the next meeting.
So,
Um,
Do you want to make it for chairman's signature? This is going to be the only correction,
As far as I understand, it's the only correction.
right, Dave?
Being the name of the owner.
Yeah.
I'm good.
make a motion that
Well, that will be,
you use all the original language in
Right.
in the original
Resolution.
resolution,
with the exception of a name change.
right? I'm guessing that'll be 2417. Oh, no, I don't know what singular was, so I don't know.
The same number?
Resolution number?
No, it should probably be a new resolution number. I'm not familiar with exactly how the resolution numbers are. How they are
So
annotated.
Coral was 16, is singular going to be 17?
I'd imagine they're unique to an application.
Unique to the application itself.
Singular was 15.
Sync.
Coral 16, so this will be 17?
Yes.
So make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-17 with the changes that we just discussed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just one quick thing before we get to Kennedy. Steve Wolfel and I were out last week looking at the proposed DiNardo project where it's going to be the storage unit.
Yes.
And there's a field change that was required. I just want to explain to you. A berm was put in the back, significant size, which wasn't on the plans. And I didn't feel comfortable, nor did he feel comfortable, just issuing the field change without bringing it to the board and having him come back again just to give another explanation to us. I doubt very much that any neighbor is going to complain, because what you've done now is from a 6 or 7 foot wall between the soil and the trees, it's going to be like a 12-foot wall. I can't imagine anybody being upset about that, but I just, as FYI, he'll be back next month.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Okay. And last but not least is Kennedy Catholic Prep School, their field house application, and they're proposing a new 3,150 square foot field house adjacent to the sports field for exercise equipment to support the existing student population. And it's located in the center of the property at the southeast corner of the main athletic field. For the record, the property is located at 554 Route 138, and it's 138 and it's in an R120 zone. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Kirk Goulden. I'm here with representing Paul Checo. He could not make it tonight. He had surgery. I think most of the comments have been addressed. We have a meeting in front of the fire board on Wednesday, the 20th at 4:30 to address the one comment. Otherwise, I believe you guys went well, and I think we're pretty well set.
Dave and Steve?
Yeah, as far as planning, that the issue about the access road for fire prevention, I think was the only kind of outstanding matter. You've submitted the plans, the updated plans. Perhaps could you just quickly go for this board, go over your configuration for the fire access and for the public?
So in front here, right here is where we met that time, the walkway, you know, the driveway curved right there. It'll be a fire access road from that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Can you tilt that microphone towards you at the podium, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
So where the edge of pavement is here, it would go from that edge of pavement to the building.
About how long is it?
Approximately 138 feet.
30?
Yes.
And you're still planning on using the same material?
Yeah, pervious surface stone. Yeah. Like a unilock type of method.
So did you have any?
Our engineering comments were relatively minor. I did with the civil engineer this past week to review our comments, and they submitted a letter discussing how they were going to address those. There were minor changes to the grading and some additional information that they're providing about how the patio area and roof leaders will be drained through the system. They also confirmed that they do have a drop manhole structure to dissipate some of the energy before it hits the swale, so you're not kind of causing any erosion due to high velocities there. So we don't need to see with these responses, but we don't need to see a new set of plans for the purposes of this public hearing. There's no changes really to the plan, just cleaning up some of the engineering details.
And since it is a public hearing, is there anyone here to speak? No one here, so make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. How's the board feel about, well, first of all, is there any board comments or questions?
I had a question. So I know it says for equipment storage, but is it it's just for equipment, or is it going to be a concession stand at any point?
No, there's no concession stand.
'Cause it's right
Concession stand's a
off-
separate building.
Yeah.
That we're dealing with the building department now.
So students won't be like working out in it or using it for anything else, or it's just for equipment storage?
They'll be working out in there and there'll be equipment
Okay.
stored. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Everybody feel comfortable asking staff to prepare a resolution?
Yes.
Yep.
Make a motion that we direct staff to prepare a resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Thank you.
Thank you. They'll send that to the building department, I presume, right? Next.
After it's signed, yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
Is it resolution for chair signature, or is it
Is it for what?
resolution for chair signature, or resolution comes back to us that we look at it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not an immediate, not going directly. The resolutions gets presented to the board, vote on it in December.
We couldn't authorize it just to move forward?
No, because you still have to meet with the Bureau of Fire Prevention, and you need to get their sign off before this. If the Bureau of Fire Prevention has a different reaction to what you're proposing and they're asking for something different, then we need to consider that.
I mean, I think they're all pretty much in agreement with what we're doing, that just because their meeting got pushed back after ours. I mean, we're trying to break ground before winter sets in a little bit here.
We can empathize with that. With the democratic process, unfortunately, that we have to follow, and it involves including the other boards, which would be the fire board. So I think we would be kind of out of sequence if we gave an exception here, unless the board feels differently. Council thinks. Yeah.
Well, let's clarify that this particular issue has been made known to the applicant for a while, and they haven't specifically addressed it until just recently. So it's my recommendation, wait until the Bureau of Fire Prevention has an opportunity to review it, get back. In the meantime, we can certainly prepare the draft resolution so that you have it for your next meeting. And,
Okay.
And the process will have been concluded with the Bureau of Fire Prevention, hopefully.
That's why I wanted to clarify, because what you were saying seemed at conflict with what my understanding of where we would be.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I wish everyone a happy, healthy, and joyous Thanksgiving. Our next meeting is December. Oh, something
All
else?
right, so I wanted to bring up something before you adjourn. Wendy Getting, the office assistant for planning, is trying to get all of us on a email domain through the town. And so she sent out an email today. Not everyone's responded to it from the board.
You mean if you want to change your?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use
I
it.
talked to her about it yesterday. It's just whatever each individual wants to do.
Yeah, so answer her either yay or nay.
Yeah, just make sure you RSVP to her. Yeah.
Right, that's all I just wanted all of
Yep.
us to be on the same page. I told her I would if it come up. So
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Our next meeting is December 11th, 2024. Hopefully everybody will come a couple of pounds heavier.
Hopefully.
Sorry.
Not. Hopefully not.
Is there a motion? I make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye, aye.